This video will demonstrate how to do the homework for the Math Emporium courses. Once you have finished completing the appropriate pages in the workbook, you will arrive at a section about homework. For example, in the 100p course on page 20, the first homework that you have to hand in written work for reads, return to the main course page of My Math Lab here at the bottom and click on the Do Homework link at the top left of the page. You are now ready to complete section 1.2 and 1.3 homework. So you can set aside your workbook for now, except possibly as a reference for doing the work. And I want to outline a specific procedure for doing the homework. So let's first open up a course. And when you get to the course homepage, as it said, click the Do Homework button. Now I've already completed the orientation homework. I can see my score over here is 100%. And I'm ready to do the first actual homework that I'm going to hand in to my professor. Okay, so here's the specific procedure. You click on this tab and a list of homework comes up. Note that these assignments must be done in order. These flags mean there are prerequisites for each one, and they're listed if you mouse over them. So you have to get an 80% or better on each homework to move on to the next one. It doesn't mean you have to get it right the first time. We'll discuss that as we go along. When you open a particular homework link, like this, you'll see the prerequisites here, or you'll see what this is a prerequisite for. The current score right now, it's 0% because I haven't done any work in this homework yet. You'll see a list of questions at the bottom. There are 30 questions on this first homework. They're pretty simple ones, so we'll probably go through them pretty quickly. There's no specific due date listed. If you close a homework, you can come back to it. It'll say when you last worked it. It keeps records for your professor as well, so they can look and see what your progress is and when you work and when you don't work. It is important to know, though, that you need to do the homework that pertains to each class meeting before the next time the class meets. So if you look at the syllabus on pages 7 and 8, there's a schedule of assignments. If there's an assignment on Monday or Tuesday for your class, you need to complete that by Wednesday or Thursday when class meets again. So let's click on question 1 to begin. So this question pops up in a new window. You are required to show work for all homework questions and submit it to your professor when you finish. The work should look like this. Make sure to write a heading with your name, first and last name, the professor's name, and the section that you're working on, the homework title of the section. In this case, section 1.2, 1.3. Clearly write down each question as I've done here. And if it shows a lot of information, you just have to write down enough information to get across what the question is. So when you look at it again, you can remember what it was asking. And this question says, find 2x when x equals 3. That's what it said on the online part. We'll look at that again. Looks like that. So, and it asks for what the answer is. I'm going to put in an incorrect answer just to show you. We all know what the answer to this one is. It's 6. But let's put in 20. Okay. Enter it in My Math Lab and press check answer at the bottom. And then it says, a screen pops up that says, sorry, that is not correct. And it gives a suggestion for fixing the mistake. In this case, replace x with 3 in the expression 2x and multiply carefully. So at this point, you can go to your workbook for help. If you don't understand how to do this question or remember it, go to the notes in your workbook. Or you can use this Help Me Solve This button or this View an Example button. There's an animation for this one. You can go to the textbook. You can bring up a calculator and do the calculation. There's also a calculator on the computer that you can use over here. That's a little more sophisticated, isn't it? It's better to use that one. You can use that one on exams as well, whereas this one won't be available. You can send an email to your instructor. You can print this out and work it on paper. These are all help buttons here that are very useful for doing the homework. View an Example is a dangerous one because you can just sort of copy what they're doing without understanding. Help Me Solve This is much more of an understanding tool, so I would suggest using that one if you're going to use one of these two help buttons. You'll get 2 or 3 tries to enter most answers. If it says final answer down here instead of just check answer, that's your last try. But let's see what happens if I get a final answer wrong. Let's put in another wrong answer like 12. It says no, it says the same thing. And put in another wrong answer like 8. Okay. So I'm going to save this attempt, get a 0 on it, push done, and it tells me what the correct answer is. It's 6. We knew that. Now let's push similar exercise. So we're going to take our paper now and let me show you what we would have done there. We tried 12, we tried 10, none of them worked. We cross that out and we get a similar exercise. Now this is not the same one that they got. But let's see what we have here. 4x when x equals 4. Okay, and I correctly answered it on the paper here. You would take this one and answer it correctly, and by putting in 16, you get excellent. And you click OK, and you've completed that one. You've gotten credit for it. It'll show you that now you have, out of the 30 questions, 1 correct. Out of 30 points, you have 3.33% of it completed correctly. So I want to talk about this paper a little bit. I did kind of flash through this, but I tried these 3 options. None of them worked. It's best to leave that there because then you can go back and see the mistakes you made, which you learn from the most. Make sure you circle your answer when you get a correct answer so that professor can find that answer that you answered correctly. And then continue to work on homework in this manner, writing down the question and the work that you did to find the answer for each problem. Keeping this in a 3-ring binder. Notice this is in binder paper. So a good way to keep it organized and take assignments in and out so that you can hand them in and get them back, put them back in for future reference, especially when you're studying for exams. So once you've completed your homework, you need to follow your professor's instructions. So you've completed all the homework at least to 80% proficiency. Your professor may want a scan of the written work submitted electronically. There's a scanner in the Emporium at one end, a black scanner attached to one of the computers at a desk near one of the entrance doors. You can make sure that you write your work only on one side of the paper. Use a scanner in the Emporium or scan elsewhere on campus and save to the correct folder on the X drive. Your professor will guide you through that more specifically. Otherwise, the professor may want the actual written work handed in. You just have the professor look over your written work in class or hand it to them so they can look at it outside of class and hand it back. So that concludes this video. Thank you very much.